Don't really have anything for a cold open today, so my daughter told me this joke yesterday. What do you call a deer with no eyes? No idea. Let's try to talk about baseball here after a little intro here on the DLS Rangers podcast. Hey, here we go. Time to start the show. I'm Jeff Wilson. Thanks for stopping by. We got Kat and Joseph over there working the production side, making me look good as always. And as I always say, I need all the help I can get. Happy Wednesday, guys. I hope you are enjoying this Rangers off day. The no game today. They're off for the second time this spring. They got one more off day next week. But that's not gonna prevent us from doing a camp rundown, handing out some awards, looking at the young arms, and then we got to talk about that WBC thing. So anyway, let's get to the camp rundown, whatever you want to call it. Here's what we got. Again, no game today. They will be back at it tomorrow. Friday is the first TV game for everybody pining to see them, and you haven't made it out. It's a surprise. So. Don't sleep on these off days. They're important for the players. They're important for the front office. It gives them a time to gather their thoughts about certain players. Wouldn't be surprised if there were some roster moves tomorrow. Kind of get that roster pared down as we're running out of at-bats, running out of innings. And hopefully some people will be back who need to be back. Josh Young, he ran the bases Tuesday. That's always the last thing a player has to do when he's coming back from a leg injury, really any kind of injury. He had to strain adductor. It's been a good 10 days, maybe a little bit more since he first started feeling it. But don't be surprised if he pops into the A game on Thursday, or maybe he heads to the backfields to get at-bats or track pitches, whatever he wants to do. But he should be playing soon. Same thing goes for Kyle Higashioka, who is getting close with his back woes. Again, this off day today could be another chance for him to rest and return quickly. No later than this weekend. Cole Winn, he pitched Tuesday, I believe it was, scoreless inning, and he did so after the birth of his daughter. So congratulations to Cole Winn and the wife. They're located there in Scottsdale. That's where they live. And my favorite Coloradan on the roster, Cole Winn, glad for him. That's a cool deal. Cody Freeman should be starting to ramp up a little bit starting on Monday. So he's still not going to be ready to start the season. Probably not going to be ready till May if I had to wager. So that's your injury rundown. And that's good news because there's not a lot of guys. I think the big news the last 2 days is that Andrew McCutchen played in Cactus League games, started, did well. 2 for 5. Both hits were doubles. He had an RBI and a walk. He DH'd on Monday against the Padres. He was the left fielder Tuesday. And All About Sports Zone. I saw where you mentioned that it looks like Skip Schumacher wants McCutchen to do more than DH. That's always been the deal since day one. Andrew McCutchen was going to have to play the outfield. And he can do it. He's won a Gold Glove there. Yeah, he's 39 now or whatever it is, but I think he will have no problem playing in the outfield on occasion. All right, Monday's game, 4-1 over the Padres. It was started by Trey Supak, who's going to be at AAA and might have a chance at the majors this year. He finished so well last year and had a nice spring this year. 2 scoreless innings from Carter Baumler, which is very important for the Rule 5 guy to be able to go multiple innings. You know, if the Rangers are going to try to hide him, and it sure looks like they're going to because he hasn't really done anything this spring to suggest otherwise, he's got to be able to get more than 3 outs. Also got a scoreless inning from Josh Spores, which is significant. And then Peyton Gray, who's still in camp and, you know, still kind of hanging around possibly for a job in the bullpen. Offensively, the highlight was a triple for Brandon Nimmo. All right, so he's out there getting his at-bats. On Tuesday, 8-3 over the Cubs. Let's say this. The Cubs did not send their best and brightest from across the valley. Also, they have some pretty good players who are in the WBC, but it was a pretty watered-down lineup. So Jacob deGrom, he did what he needed to do. 3 scoreless innings, 2 singles, a walk, 5 strikeouts. He threw in I think 43 pitches, so he's just kind of on his own program. He'll get 2 more starts, I think, maybe 3. 3 might be squeezing it. 2 more starts before he gets to his first start, which is probably going to be that second game of the season on Saturday, the 28th. The Rangers open on the 26th, and they're off in case there's crappy weather in Philadelphia, which I guess is always a possibility. And then he would pitch Saturday if the current schedule holds. That would also line him up for the home opener against the Reds. He doesn't need to get too far, he said. He thinks early on it'll be like last year where he's at like 5-85 for the first handful of starts, maybe as they try to manage that workload, make sure he's on the field making his starts. If you get 5 really good innings from Jacob deGrom, you're in pretty good shape. He was followed by Kumar Rocker, 2 runs in 4 innings, 3 hits, 5 Ks. Skip Schumacher said afterward he really liked the outing. Now, I think it's important to note that, again, it was against watered-down guys. One of the runs was a home run to Matt Shaw, who is a semi-regular or maybe a total regular for the Cubs. So I still don't know what to make of Rocker's spring. I still have Jacob Latz ahead of him in that competition for the 5th starter spot, but maybe Kumar, who dialed in his control a little bit more or his command a little bit more. He had good control against Brazil in that start, but he gave up a ton of hits, so he was probably not as sharp as he wanted to be. This one felt a little bit better. Offensively, good day. The Rangers hit 3 homers against Cade Horton, who you've probably heard of. Corey Seager, 3-run shot. Josh Smith, solo home run. And Ezekiel Duran, a 2-run homer. He hasn't homered in a regular season game since September of 2024. He hit one in a B game the other day, last Thursday. Probably wind-aided, but he still caught it pretty good. Zeke's bat's coming around. He had a nice winter in the Dominican, and now it's starting to pick up at the right time because he is battling for a roster spot. Speaking of roster battle updates, nothing's changed since Monday when I had my predictions out there, the second set of predictions. I still have McCutchen, Sam Haggerty, Duran, and whoever is not catching that day between Higashioka and Jansen on the bench. Despite Rocker's outing, like I just said, I've got Jacob Latz in the rotation, which would mean Kumar Rocker would head to AAA. And then the bullpen, there's probably, 3 spots. I'm not sure how many spots, but nothing changed. I still have Gavin Collier, Carter Baumler, and Josh Spores filling out the bullpen behind, let's say, off the top of my head, Garcia, Martin, Junis, Alexander, and Wynn. Does that sound good to you guys? We'll see. Alexis Diaz needs to really, really finish strong. Okay? Has to finish strong. Kelly Mann, how about Jock? Well, he's going to be on the roster. They're paying him too much. They're not going to eat the money. And everybody else who I've talked to, I've asked the question a lot. They say Jock's going to be fine. So we'll see. Time will tell. I don't know that he'll have an especially long leash if it comes to pass that he's like he was last year. But again, it's going to be really hard for him to be as bad as last year. He's looked good, right? I think I've talked about it, and it's been written. He's lost weight. His body looks like it's in better shape. There were concerns last year that because he had gained weight, the bat path was different. He lost the weight. The hitting coaches talked in the offseason about how what contact Jock did make was in line with his career norms. He hit it hard. Exit velocities were good. So we'll see. It's one of those things. And another thing to keep in mind, he had an ankle injury last year that he didn't talk about, never got reported. He didn't get cleared to hit until right after Thanksgiving or start doing full baseball activities. So is he behind? Probably not. He played in the B game on last Thursday. looked fine, good spirits. The clubhouse guy that we're talking about last year was such a big deal. He's going to change the clubhouse, and it's hard to do when you're batting, less than 100 for most of the first half. When you're hurt like he was in middle May, broken thumb, it's really, really hard to be a clubhouse leader if you, A, aren't producing, and B, can't even post. So I am not sure what will come of Jock. Nobody's sure. Just the Rangers, though, whether it's themselves, trying to convince themselves or whether they actually see stuff, they say that Jock's going to be fine. Okay, well, whatever. Cordua, I saw on MLB Network, they still have Rocker fighting for a rotation spot. Well, yeah, he's still fighting for it. I just don't think he's going to win it. But you never know. And again, it's been a quiet, smooth camp. We just went over the injury report. There's 4 guys on it. I don't count Sebastian Walcott, but they haven't had the 2 rotation losses like they did last year when Bradford and Gray were hurt, and they had to go sign Patrick Corbin. They had to force Leiter into the rotation, which worked. Forced Rocker into the rotation, which did not work. So we'll see. And again, keep in mind, he spent pretty much 6 weeks at the end of last season working on mechanical changes. Are they dialed in? Is he happy with his changeup and his other pitches like his cutter? The fastball's going to be there. When Kamar has his command in line, he's really, really good. I just don't know if they think it's consistent enough. But he'll probably get another outing or 2 before they make the decision. It's going to go to the end. The Rangers probably don't have to submit their opening day roster until the day before the season. I would suspect that because they won't need the 5th starter until, probably, well, not until the 6th day of the season. Maybe whoever wins that spot finds himself in the rotation to start the year. It's also possible they go with a 9th reliever and have him around for 4 days. But the Rangers have to have a reliever that has options, and they don't have those right now. That's something that the team is very well aware of, and you'll have to figure that one out because when you need an arm, when you need to go to AAA the day after the bullpen has been taxed for a second straight day, you need a fresh arm. Who are you going to get without DFAing somebody? And so I'm curious how that shakes out. That's also one of the reasons why I have Collier making the team. He would have options. They would have to add him to the 40-man, yes, but he would have options. So those are some things to look at. Again, the off day ends could change everything. You could see guys moved out of camp who are competing for roster spots. Though, like Gray and Collier, they're going to be at AAA anyway. So they're going to come with the team to those exhibition games against the Royals, the 23rd and 24th. Whether they've been told they're on the roster or not at that point, it's kind of irrelevant. They're still going to be with the team. The AAA season opens that week too. So if they don't make it, they go to Round Rock. And if one of them makes it, hey, great. He goes to Philadelphia after that last game, gets ready for opening day. And Baumler's the big one too because, he can't be optioned. He's young, he's a rookie, but the Rule 5 rules, those darn Rule 5 rules, you cannot option a Rule 5 guy. He has to stay on the roster. And if you want to get rid of him, you got to DFA him. He's got to pass all the way through waivers. Then you have to offer him back to the other team. And if the other team wants him, I think they pay $50,000 to get him back. Or you can work out a trade. And maybe the Orioles and the Rangers, if this comes to pass, can work out a trade. Hey, it's been done before. I think Ben Snyder is the one I remember most recently, a Rule 5 guy from the Giants. I mean, this is 10 years ago, maybe more. The Rangers went ahead and struck a trade with the Giants, kept him in the system, and didn't have a great career, Ben, but by golly, that was one of those Rule 5 things. All right, that's the camp rundown. Went by pretty quick. Next up, we're going to kind of evaluate camp at this point. We're past the midway point. These guys have been in the desert for a long time. I'm going to hand out some awards I completely made up, and we're going to do that after this. Hey guys, Wild Fork Meat and Seafood Market time. We talk about them every show with good reason. They're fantastic at what they do. They're our favorite butcher. They should be your favorite butcher. 9 DFW locations, 2 coming to the west side of town soon. And then you can always go to wildforkfoods.com, where if you become a member for $29 for 1 year, you can get free delivery. In many cases, same day, no later than next day. So why go to Wild Fork? Well, there are a lot of reasons. Affordability. They have a meeting every week with their marketing folks. They look at the prices at all the shops around, including grocery stores, and they try to meet or beat those prices. And most of the time, they're going to beat them. They have all kinds of meats, different cuts of meat. Your non-traditional meat, unless you're from Australia and like kangaroo, buffalo, stuff like that, but also the beef, the pork, the poultry. And the people there are fantastic. Go in to one of their 9 DFW locations or visit wildforkfoods.com. You will not regret it. You also will not regret Prize Picks. Prizepicks.com/DLLS. Make a $5 lineup and get $50 in free lineups. What is a lineup? You take 2 to 6 players, whether they will have more or less than their particular statistical category. You can do it for as little as $1. And you will get, a value system that will increase your payout if you hit. I've had a pretty good run here the last, let's say, week on Prize Picks. I've already got one today. I've dipped into the soccer, which is interesting, trying to figure out if that's my cup of tea. Also have an NBA one. Tristan Silva, more than 6.5 rebounds plus assists. Sadiq Bey, more than 17.5 points. And Kyle Filipowski, more than 13.5 rebounds and assists. Today, they also have a promo where you can boost your lineup by 40%. Prizepicks.com/DLLS. Visit it today. Nailed those ad reads today. I really, really feel good about those. All right, let's go ahead and go on to the kind of the camp review, evaluating the team at this break. Again, there's going to be another off day Tuesday. These are all WBC travel related. So there you go. It's usually 2. This year it's 3. I'm guessing there's some golf being played. Although I bet Cole Wynn, the best golfer on the team by far, he's probably a little bit busy changing diapers. I don't think Mrs. Wynn would find it too fun if he went out and played some golf. Hey. Okay, so yeah, kind of like an overview here. What's like the mood at camp? I would say cheery. That's kind of how people have described it. It's kind of like fun. And as Skip Schumacher said, you need to have fun when you come to the ballpark. Your job needs to be fun. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. So yeah, so it's fun. People are in good moods. It's been a pretty smooth camp. We talked about the lack of injuries, the general good health. Guys are starting to play a little bit more. They're starting to produce a little bit more. You're seeing that from the regulars. So, and these young guys have kind of, infused some energy. Gavin Collier, he's not afraid to talk. Cam Colley, just as well as he's played, it's kind of showing everybody what he can do. And young guys we saw last year with the Little Rascals and how they kind of energized the team for that run that went into early to middle September before the Astros series. So don't overlook that. Young guys, they may be experienced, but they can show a little emotion. All right, so I said we were going to hand out some awards, and we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to list off some contenders first, and then we'll show you the winner. The star of camp so far. Here's who I have as the top contenders. Oh, okay. Well, Josh, go ahead and do it then. Josh Smith, 119 OPS. He's the winner. Jake Berger, though, 1.094 OPS. Evan Carter, 1.075 OPS, and some talk about him playing every day. And then Nathan Eovaldi, who's just had this hiccup-free camp and everything's good. I went with Josh Smith. He's trying to learn a new position here, right? So in addition to that, he's producing. He's got 2 home runs, but he hit 2 against Brazil that don't count in the standings. This guy's just been on top of things. He's doing it against left-handers. He's doing it against right-handers. And again, he's learning a new position. And what looked like a 5-person race, that's what it was billed as over the offseason. It's pretty much been his job to lose, and he has not lost it. Moving along, best hitter, the contenders. And there's the winner, Wyatt Langford. Josh Smith, Berger, Carter, Wyatt Langford, who has a 13-18 OPS, 2 doubles, 2 homers, just seems to be chilling there, doesn't care where he plays. And then Aaron Zavala I put on the list. He had a 1272 OPS before he was not optioned, reassigned to minor league camp. Good news for him. He's happy. He's playing baseball, not worrying about the bad days, enjoying the good days. So Langford, the winner. Keep in mind last year he had the first of 4 oblique strains early in spring training. He didn't really get started until midway through camp. He started late this year, but only like 4 days. It was by design. Nothing was wrong with him. So a healthy Langford, boy, that makes the lineup go a long way. And it looks like he's going to be batting second, too. I don't think Skip Schumacher wants to go left with Nimmo Seager. Left. Give some people some problems. All right, best pitcher. Peyton Gray, Tyler Alexander, Carter Baumler, Leandro Lopez, and Gavin Collier. This was a tight one. I went with Alexander because he's like V1 who's going to be on the opening day roster, and I think he's going to be really valuable to this this team. His role, he calls himself a Swiss Army knife. He can go 1 inning, he can go 5 innings, he can make a spot start. He's just been really good, and he's a really good guy. I don't say that because he went to TCU. He's hilarious, funny guy. I think he knows, happy with who he is, understands who he is, doesn't try to pretend to be anything else. That's pretty cool. Okay, and this is completely made up. Who is that guy award? Contenders: Peyton Gray, Gavin Collier, Tyler Wade, Cam Cauley. I went with Collier. I have him ahead of Peyton Gray. Wade's had a nice spring. He's in the run for a bench spot. Cam Cauley, great spring. Not going to make the team. So I went with Collier. If he's in the strike zone, he's hard to hit. If he's ahead of hitters, he's really hard to hit. He's not walking guys. He's going to make the team. I really, really like it. Hey, don't forget about me award. Contenders: Sam Haggerty, Ezekiel Duran, Luis Crivello, and Josh Spores. Josh Spores I have as the winner. We can't forget him because he's part of the most iconic moment in franchise history with the 2023 World Series, throwing the last pitch, striking out Ketel Marte. But he was injured last year. Took forever to sign a minor league deal with the Rangers as he was holding out, I think, for a major league deal from somebody. It didn't happen. He's got to earn his way on the team. He's tossed 4 scoreless innings this spring. Velocity, approaching middle 90s. The curveball's fine. His command's been good. He can probably pitch with what he's got and get outs. More velocity would be wonderful. He understands that. I think it's in there. I think when you put a third deck on a stadium, that will allow him to find 96, 97. So I like Josh Spores. I've got him in the bullpen to start the season. But let's not lose sight of Duran. I told you about the power, how it's coming on. I know all of you guys are worn out by him not hitting the last 2 years, and I'm not saying he's going to bat 350 this year or play every day. He's not. But with Young's injury history, with Corey Seager's injury history, with the Rangers wanting to keep Josh Smith at second base as he gets acclimated to the new position, Ezekiel Duran's pretty important to this team with his defense there on the left side of the infield. And then I did another award, the most buzzworthy. Contenders: Cam Cauley, Gavin Collier, Kamar Rocker, Brandon Nimmo, and Andrew McCutchen. I went with McCutchen, and I know he hasn't even been in camp for a week, but man, I think everybody thinks that this cat's going to make the team. It's only been 2 games. He's such a nice guy. There's a reason why nobody ever says anything bad about him. He's funny. Obviously a veteran, so he's comfortable. He will be stepping into a kind of a new role here, but as long as he hits left-handers, he's going to play. If Jock Peterson stinks, Andrew McCutchen's going to play. So, and there's a lot of buzz. I mean, this was a national story when he signed, and I think the people in Pittsburgh are still ticked off about it. How he's not with the Pirates, won't be with the Pirates this year, barring a trade of some sort or something crazy, or maybe the Rangers don't put him on the roster and he signs a 1-day contract to retire with the Pirates. But I think he's going to make the team. I think he wouldn't have signed without some pretty good assurances that he would make the team. But I don't want to sleep on any of these other guys. Nimmo's been a delight to be around. High energy guy. Good player. On top of everything else, good player. He's going to be the leadoff guy So you're going to see him a lot at the top of the lineup. And I've seen some questions about Josh Smith in the lineup, and I don't know. I think if you go through it, let's just do it. Let's say it's a right-hander. You're going to have Nimmo, Langford, Seager, maybe Berger or Young, then Jock Peterson. So we're up to 5. Then either Berger or Young, 6. So at least 3 spots. Evan Carter is going to be in the lineup. It certainly appears. You're going to have a catcher. It certainly appears. Well, you have to have a catcher. And then Josh Smith. So where do you want to put those guys? At some point, you're going to have lefties back-to-back, whether it's 9-1 or 7-8 or 8-9. I would imagine it would be 9-1. And whether I would think that's Smith. It seems like Carter is hitting the ball really, really hard. And it seems like he's the guy. Now, maybe he bats 5th and Peterson bats 7th. Old Jeff Bannister used to like to break the lineup down into thirds, and he wanted at 4 and 7 guys who could get on base. Jock Peterson can get on base, all right, when he's right. If you look at his his on base percentage last year, it was more than 100 points higher, or right around 100 points higher than his batting average. So he was doing something. He knows the strike zone. He can get on base that way. Of course, you don't really want him running the bases. And if you put the catcher 8th, it's a double play waiting to happen. I understand it, but I do think if Smith and or Carter is on base for the top of the order, it's pretty handy. So that's kind of a question for Skip once the roster's announced. Okay, these are the guys. How are you going to line it up? But we need to keep in mind the Rangers are going to face a left-hander on opening day, Christopher Sanchez from the Phillies. Probably face Jesus Luzardo, who we'll talk about in batting cleanup in that series. So 2 lefties, you may see a lot of Andrew McCutchen that series. And maybe you would see him play left field one day, get Carter in against a lefty. Maybe you see Jock not playing at all against lefties. That's what I would suspect. So you could have McCutchen there. You might have a situation where both catchers are in the lineup, or if Haggerty makes the team, Haggerty who can hit left-handers where he does right-handers, the switch hitter. So there are a lot of ways that can go, but I'm thinking Smith's 7 through 9 somewhere. So there you go. They're the award winners. I know somebody commented about Tyler Alexander. His stats haven't been great. True, but I think you can probably find the right way to use him. Whether it's if he's just going to come in and mop up, I don't know that the ERA and his pass numbers really matter. It's situations. If he's got to get 3 outs and 2 of them are left-handers, he's got to get the left-handers out, right? But he's been effective as a starter at times. Last year's shutting down the Rangers last year, probably nothing to brag about, but he did it when he was with the White Sox, and so I think that he's going to be. You're going to look back at the end of the year and be like, he was a pretty valuable guy. Hobie Milner, I think, was that guy last year. Jake Latz was probably that guy last year too, with his ability to start and pitch long in relief. So that's why I went with Alexander. So there you go. That's the awards. That's kind of where camp is, where things are right now. I think that you're starting to see things take shape. I think over the rest of the way, you're going to see position players going back to back. You're going to see them going into the 7th and the 8th innings as it's time to start really dialing in here for the start of the regular season, which is in 15 days, 2 weeks from tomorrow. The Rangers open at Philadelphia. All right, time for a little ad, some reminders that you guys hear frequently. And then when we get back, we're going to look at some of the young arms that are in camp. Talked to somebody with the Rangers yesterday who was just gushing over guys. So we'll get back to that after we do this on the DLLS Rangers podcast. All right, Supporters Club. We talk about it every show. You guys, most of you, it looks like, are in it. We got the badges, and you'll flex some emojis here, I'm sure. It's the diehard membership for our YouTube channel. You go to alldls.com/@DLLS_. sports, take you right where you need to go. There is a join button. You've already hit the subscribe button. If you haven't, you need to do that. But yeah, you hit the join button, and what do you know? It'll take you right through the process, a low price, and you are ready to go. You're ready to get access to videos that nobody else gets access to. You can't find them unless you are in the supporters club. It's behind the scenes stuff from me, the Cowboys crew, Stars, and the Mavs. I did one late last month, so I'm probably up here pretty soon. I'll have to figure out a way to do that when we're in Philadelphia, maybe. But hey, I got one coming, and so become a member of the supporters club, and also head on over to store.allcitynetwork.com. We got a lot of stuff going on there. We have our shirts where you get more than 52 shirts or 50 shirts to select for the teams that we cover. And then St. Patrick's Day, that is a week from yesterday. So you got 6 days. So you better do it now. Order you a shirt. It's our St. Patty's merch. It's pretty good. Anytime you can get a beer mug drinking from a beer mug, you know you've done a pretty dadgum good job with your design. You need green. You don't want to get pinched. Maybe you want to get pinched. Maybe you're just like that. I don't know. But get some green. Get it from store.allcitynetwork.com. And also get some merch to show your support for your favorite teams. All right, moving on. Yeah, I had a long talk yesterday with Ross Fenstermaker. You will be seeing some of that at the website. If you're a diehard, go ahead and do that. We'll talk about how to do that. But once I get around to that, probably later today, before softball practice and then after softball practice. I'm not going to go to baseball practice tonight. I've already decided. Anyway, young arms, and there were a lot of them. There always are a lot of young arms in spring training. You have the internal invites. You have guys who were like Gavin Collier, a minor league free agent who decided to stick around. I believe Supak and Peyton Gray also fall into that category. But then you have the young guys who are on the 40-man who are just added, let's say, to be protected from the Rule 5 draft. That happens every year, happened this year. And then just some guys who you've heard of who are they're on the cusp. It's going to happen soon. And Ross said to me that he thinks he's been with the club for 17 years now. He thinks this is the most talented group of young pitchers they've ever brought in. And that's pretty high praise because the Rangers have done pretty well with their internal invites in the past. And the one that Rangers have been gushing about, Ross hit on it as well last night when I spoke to him. I said during the awards when I gave it to Tyler Alexander, a lot of guys would have selected Leandro Lopez. Well, Ross is right at the top of that list. Lopez was very good. He had 10 strikeouts in like 4 innings, 1 walk. He's barely pitched above high A. He's been in Double A, probably headed there. I think he's a right-hander. He was just really, really electric. Already been optioned out of camp. David Davalillo right behind him, another Double A kid who was added to the 40-man in November to avoid exposure to the Rule 5. He had a great camp. Winston Santos never made it to a game because he broke his hand during live batting practice when he fielded I don't know if it was a line drive or a hot one hopper back at him, hit him in the palm, broke his hand. He was outstanding. He left an impression on Skip Schumacher that day because he didn't walk off the field. He stayed in there. I think his group that day of hitters in live BP was facing was Seager, Langford, and either Berger or Nimmo. And he didn't back out. He didn't back down. He finished it. And he's been throwing. He's had people playing catch for him all along, tossing. He's probably not far from getting back on a mound, though. So they feel good about that. Then, some other starters, while we're talking about starters, Lopez, Davalillo, Santos, Jose Corniel, who is a little bit delayed with dead arm. But when you look at the prospect rankings, he's been the Rangers' second highest ranked pitcher behind Caden Scarborough. And then, do you want to throw Kumar Rocker in this group? I mean, he has options. He doesn't have a lot of big league time, though I think he has exceeded his rookie status. So, all right, let's get rid of him. The young arms, as far as relievers, Gavin Collier, not on the 40. We've talked a lot about him. Emiliano Teodo, Mark Church, Luis Curvelo, Carter Baumler, Robbie Alstrom, and Eric Loomis, who was the reliever of the year last year in the minor leagues for the Rangers. I'm probably leaving some guys out. I hope they're not offended. But, Teodo's on the 40, Church is on the 40, Curvelo's on the 40, Baumler's on the 40. Baumler's unique, as we talked about, because of the Rule 5. So these are guys who you're going to see throughout the season. You hope. I think the Rangers had hoped that Emiliano Teodo would be their closer by now. Just didn't happen, but he is throwing. He's going to be, assuming he stays healthy and is throwing strikes, he will be in the major leagues this year because he's got something that nobody else with the Rangers has, 102. Okay, so the guy's got a chance to be really good. I think Church is somebody you're going to see early. Outside chance, I think, at the opening day roster, depending on how many appearances he can get in before camp breaks. But this guy was throwing 98 in his first live BP. All right, that's just a nice, easy backfield live BP, 98. There's more there. The split's a real pitch. The slider's a good pitch. So I know his debut last year when he's on the open day roster was a little rocky. You're going to get that with young guys. If he throws strikes, that's the key for everybody. Even veterans, if you throw strikes, the stuff's good enough, you're going to get outs. So yeah, but the goal, I think, is to get these guys who are on the 40-man roster, if they've earned it, into the bullpen at least, because you are going to need optionable guys. So yeah, Lopez, Davalillo, Santos, Corniel, Rocker has options. You're going to see them at some point and maybe early. It just depends. I'm sure you want them to get their feet wet at AAA. They're probably not stretched out as much if you need a spot starter or something like that. But this is a good group of guys. Lopez can be overpowering. Davalillo is more command-based, change of speed guy, does it really, really well. It'll be just a matter of time. Whenever the Rangers think it's right, and they want to get these guys in because these are talented arms. And they want to have depth. Pitchers get hurt. Nathan Eovaldi, I think we don't need to go any further than that. Knock on wood, he stays healthy. Same thing with DeGrom. But it's not an if, it's a when it comes to pitcher injuries in the major leagues, in all of baseball. Chris Martin, he was on the IL like 4 or 5 times last year. Okay, so you're gonna see these guys, and you need to know them. And Curvelo is a guy who, was in the Don't Forget About Me award nominee, coveted award. I'm guilty of forgetting about him. He's had one outing where I think he gave up 2 runs. He's been solid since then. He gets outs, throws hard, and he likes the moment. He likes the big moment, not afraid to show a little emotion. So, again, and he did make his debut last year. He pitched, and at times he pitched well in the major leagues. So if the Rangers want an optional guy, if they don't want to put Collier on the opening day roster, well, Luis Curvelo could be there. Just something to keep in mind. Church, again, might be rushed, but options, he could be there. He should be pitching in a game this week. That's how close it is. And I think, though, with these young guys who are in position to win a roster spot, you're going to see them pitching fairly early in games because you still want to see them face a team's best hitters before they get removed for pinch hitters and backups. So you may see these guys go on the road, because veteran guys, regulars, don't travel very far in Arizona. So you may see, like when the Rangers play at Goodyear next week, you may see Collier first guy out of the bullpen just so he can get some at-bats against, let's say, I don't know, Jose Ramirez or any of the Guardians hitters who are good. It's probably a short list, but you know what I'm saying. Or if they're playing the Reds, I don't know. Maybe you can have them face, like a Eugenio Suarez, unless he's with Venezuela. I don't know. But you get my point. I hope you get my point, because I'm tired of trying to make my point. And then Robbie Alstrom, as you know, is a DLLS favorite. He was told yesterday, he got moved out of camp earlier in the week. He was told by club officials, hey, you're so close, if especially if Latz is in the rotation. A left-handed reliever is ineffective, or the Rangers feel like they need a third lefty in the bullpen. Robbie Alstrom's the guy. If he's throwing strikes, getting ahead of batters to make the left-on-left thing work, Robbie Alstrom's going to be in the major leagues and could be in the major leagues pretty quick. Again, if there's a need for a left-hander, a left-handed reliever, he's the first guy up. Now, that may change in May when Cody Bradford is back and Latz, maybe he gets moved out of the rotation for Bradford. Maybe Bradford pitches in relief to kind of, further along his rehab, not put too much of a load on him early on. But in April, let's say, if a lefty is needed and Robbie Alstrom is doing well, Robbie Alstrom is going to be the guy, going to be the lefty specialist. So, and right now, Alexander and Garcia are the two lefties. You don't think they're going to get optioned because, I don't think Alexander can be. He's out of options. Garcia has options, but he's also going to be one of the two closers to start the year. And another young arm, Cole Winn, is out of options. So he's not, going to be optioned. He's not going to be DFA'd. And I had somebody tell me who's following the team pretty closely that Cole Winn in June might be the Rangers closer. He has, I know a lot of people are on the bandwagon for that. It's not going to be to open the season. Again, at the winter meetings, when I brought that up, I was kind of laughed at by Chris Young. I think I still have the soundbite, so perhaps I can rub that in his face someday. But don't be surprised if Cole Winn is in the ninth inning over the summer. Not to start the season, but he can work his way into it. He's got the velocity. He hit 98 last year. He's got a variety of off-speed pitches, splitter, slider. He throws a curveball, I think, and I think the splitter has kind of replaced his changeup. He can sink it. He can throw a four-seamer. He can cut it, I think. So it's probably too many pitches for a closer, but if it's a 3-game series and your closer needs to pitch twice, he's got things he can go along, especially if he has to face the same hitters on back-to-back days or something like that. So Cole Winn, let's keep an eye on that one for sure. And then other young arms that are down there in minor league camp. I'm assuming that Mason, you saw a lot of them. I think Leon, you probably saw a lot of them. It starts with Caden Scarborough. I'm going to have a story on Caden coming soon, who's dealing with the malignant melanoma. He's about to start throwing in earnest. Probably won't make the opening day roster as was thought of initially when it was announced his condition, but he won't be too far behind, probably going back to Hub City to continue his development. We saw A.J. Russell, who was the second-round pick last year. He just looks like a good pitcher, long and lean, and he kind of looks like Garrett Cole to me. I'm not saying the stuff is Garrett Cole stuff. Believe me, I'm not saying that, but just kind of in the face and kind of looks like Garrett Cole to me. He's probably going to start at Hub City, I would think. I think the days of the Rangers starting college pitchers at Double-A ended with Jack Leiter. I think it started with Jack Leiter. I think it ended with Jack Leiter. I think it started with Bobby Witt, maybe, and Kevin Brown back there in the 80s. But recent turns, they realize now they gave Jack a little too much to chew on there by making his professional debut at Frisco. It's all worked out now, but I think the next time, and it could be soon because A.J. Russell didn't pitch last year, I think A.J. Russell's going to end up at Hub City to start, and maybe he's in Frisco by the end of the year. If he earns it, great. No need to rush him. Again, he didn't pitch a ton of innings last year for Tennessee after the brace surgery. Says his arm's fine. He's ready to go. He's tired of talking about the arm. So keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on Scarborough. Two pretty good guys who have a chance to make some movement and up through the organization this year. All right, last ad break coming. Got to talk about the WBC and batting cleanup. It's a mess for Team USA after what happened last night. We're going to talk about that and more on the DLLS Rangers podcast right after this. Die Hard time. Become a Die Hard member. $36 for 1 year if you take advantage of our spring training offer. You get the free t-shirt. $3 a month to get coverage that won't end at spring training. This is for the whole year. You're a diehard for 12 months. So take advantage of this. We're about to roll into the regular season. I'm gonna be busy out there doing all sorts of things during spring training. I'm going back next week, and then off to Philly for the opener, and then coverage throughout the season. So the website, alldls.com/spring-offer or spring-training-offer. Or, so I don't have to say that again, just scan the QR code, okay? $36 for a year. It's a massive bargain. Holy jeez. I can't tell you. And it's not just Ranger stuff you get. You're getting Cowboys, you're getting Stars, you're getting Mavs. The Cowboys have been very, very busy here with free agency. The Mavs, not good. Stars, good. Hopefully they will get a little deeper into the Stanley Cup playoffs. Hopefully they won't run into Edmonton. I don't know. Is Edmonton any good? You get my point. They've had some trouble with Edmonton in the postseason. So Sam will be there. Ron is going to be covering the autopsy of the Mavs season. And the end of Cooper Flagg's rookie year, had a rough one last night. Didn't shoot the ball particularly well. Rebounded well. Didn't shoot it well. And then Clarence, all over the Cowboys as he's been for, I think, around 30 years now, from his time with me at the Fort Worth paper all the way until now at DLLS. And we are thrilled to have him. And you get the free T-shirt, store.allcitynetwork.com. So let's go. Time to become a diehard if you're not already. All right, batting cleanup. And we got a lot to unpack from that game last night. I thought about making it a segment, but there were no Rangers in the game. There were former Rangers, including Michael Lorenzen, who is the reason primarily why Team USA finds itself in need of help from Mexico or Italy today. Oh, sorry. So Team USA lost last night to Italy, 8-6, stunning upset. Don't really have much more to say about it than that. You know, they keep calling this the dream team. Well, the dream team in the 92 Olympics basketball didn't lose. Just saying, you know, they had a proven coach, Chuck Daly, not a TV commentator. Mark DeRosa is their manager. Anyway, the Team USA might be out of it after tonight. They went 3-1, yes, in pool play, but they need a lot of help. So here's what they need. The easiest thing is for Italy, who's starting Aaron Nola, pretty good pitcher, is for Italy to beat Mexico tonight. Just a straight win. That's all they got to do. They can win 100-0 or they can win 1-0. Italy wins, Team USA is in because it would go to head-to-head records. Well, it wouldn't even go to head-to-head records. It would be Mexico's second loss. They're out. Now, if Mexico wins today, they have to win by scoring at least 5 runs. So it could be 5-1. It could be 11-2, be 11-9. They need 5 runs and a win. And if that happens, Team USA moves on. It should have never gotten to this point. Ken Rosenthal, I thought, wrote a pretty good little column off of the game last night after he got done with his TV gig. Pretty interesting. And I hadn't realized that Mark DeRosa had said yesterday morning on MLB Network that, oh, yeah, the Team USA, our ticket's already punched. It was not punched, okay? They still had to win to guarantee that they would go to the quarterfinal round. They didn't. You can pick apart the lineup. He started some guys like Paul Goldschmidt, who had a hit, at first base, but he's not Bryce Harper. Although Bryce Harper hasn't been great this classic. Ernie Clement started instead of Bryce Terang. Kind of, lament that choice. I think there was another one. And then Nolan McLean, the young starter for the Mets, would have liked to have somebody other than a rookie pitching in this game, wouldn't you? And I know insurance and whatnot has been an issue. It potentially cost Jack Leiter an opportunity to pitch in this game. But it just didn't work out. Sloppy defensive play kind of allowed Italy to stretch its lead. And so the next thing you know, it's 8-0. So Team USA did well to get it to 8-6. And those 6 runs are huge. They absolutely, positively are very, very important. If Harper had come through as a pinch hitter, if Bobby Witt had been able to score in the ninth inning, every last run would have helped to make this whole run differential thing less of a factor. It's interesting. I saw MLB, maybe it was the Athletic headline was like, this crazy tiebreaker system. If you have a kid who plays in baseball tournaments or softball tournaments, I have both. You are darn full aware of that runs allowed as a tiebreaker. Now it's runs allowed per divided by defensive outs, so that's a little bit different. But this isn't new in baseball. It might be new to the World Baseball Classic and to people whose kids have moved on from the realm of tournament baseball or never played it. However, this isn't new. It's not probably the best way to settle it. I would think, overall runs scored or something like that would be better. But it is what it is. And the USA needs, if Mexico wins, they have to score 5 or more. If Italy wins, no problem. So that's the scenario facing Team USA as it sits and watches. Apparently they're going to get together in their team hotel and watch the game. And if they win, they stay in Houston. I think they stay in Houston. If they lose, they go back to spring training, and I'm sure they don't want to do that. So, and I noticed Curdua saying that PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong, he did hit 2 home runs. If Team USA survives today and finds a way to advance, he's the guy who they can thank, because it was 8-0 in the 7th. He had a 3-run homer. He had a homer in the 8th or 9th, and those runs were huge, absolutely huge. Those runs. So he's going to get a lot of handshakes and pats on the back, and maybe some dinners bought for him if Team USA is able to advance. They did beat Mexico on 5-3, or on Monday 5-3. And I think they were sitting back and smoking cigars and having a good time, thinking that was the one that would do it. Maybe they took Italy lightly. Italy had a ton of major leaguers on the roster. But Paul Skeens was great. So was Bobby Witt Jr.'s defense. If you watched him at Colleyville Heritage, you know that's old hat. Aaron Judge homered. Roman Anthony, who's been a great addition after Corbin Carroll was hurt. He's been great. Robert Garcia tossed a scoreless inning for Mexico. Alejandro Osuna had a chance to pinch hit in the 9th as a tying run, and he struck out on 3 pitches. That's fine. There was some big drama during the game because Randy Arozarena, who plays for the Mariners, his first at-bat, he went to shake hands with catcher Cal Raleigh, who plays for the Mariners. Cal did not shake his hand, and Randy didn't like it. And apparently Randy told him in Spanish to go F himself, which, that's not very nice. Cal Raleigh, he talked to the reporters at the cover of the Mariners yesterday, said, everything's going to be fine. I love the guy. I don't know. It seems like Randy's not going to forget that one. So maybe we've got some drama in the AL West, which would be pretty funny. Not funny for the White Sox is that Kyle Teal left the game last night. Noted Italian Kyle Teal, playing for Team Italy. He hurt a hamstring. He's a catcher, young catcher, stud catcher. And then the cool thing about Monday's game is especially cool for me. Paul Skeens and Griffin Jacks, they played for Air Force during their collegiate careers before moving along, so they didn't have to fulfill their commitment. They paid for the Air Force baseball team to attend that game in Houston. The Falcons had been at Baylor, so not far away, and playing. And it's really kind of a cool deal for a couple of local kids with really strong TCU ties. Gaines Estridge, anybody know that name? Brian Estridge, who's the TCU play-by-play man. His son is the Friday starter for Air Force. So he was in the crowd. And then Brooks Burdine, whose dad is Landry Burdine, who was a captain on the Sun Bowl team, gave the big inspirational speech before they went out and beat USC. He's been on the radio with Brian, has been part of Ryan's team. It wasn't this year, but he has been in the past. His son, Brooks, Landry has twin boys. They both went to Aledo. And so Brooks was on that team. He's a freshman. Gaines is a junior. He went to Colleyville Covenant. Pretty cool. And then one other drama from Team USA. Tarek Skubal will not pitch again. if they advance, he's not going to pitch again. He's wrestled with it, said he is not comfortable with his decision, but he threw a bullpen yesterday in Tigers camp. So Tarek Skubal, if Team USA gets lucky, will not be pitching for them again. All right, elsewhere in baseball, more AL West drama with your Houston Astros, not your Houston Astros, the Houston Astros. Josh Hader, closer, really, really good. He's going to start the year on the injured list with a biceps issue that he felt in the offseason. Bothered him, well, pretty much all of camp. He did throw a bullpen session yesterday, but it was his first bullpen session on March the 10th. He's probably going to need one or two more of those, probably a live BP, and then maybe get into a game really late in camp, depending on how many bullpens he throws. So he's not going to be ready for start of the regular season. Not sure when he would get back. I think you can backdate an IL move 3 days from opening day. So that would be the 23rd, plus 8, plus 7 to get to 15 is April 7th. I don't know that he's going to be ready by April 7th. If he is, he won't be going back to back. So, he ended the season hurt last year. It was his first time on the injured list. It was a shoulder deal. Kept him out during a pretty important time of the year for the Astros. Another injury, and this affects the Rangers' early schedule. Reds ace Hunter Green, he's having surgery. He might have already had it, to remove bone spurs from his elbow, and he will be out until July. So that means he will not pitch against the Rangers in their home opening series. April, you guys probably know the dates, maybe the 3rd to the 5th or 4th to the 6th, something like that. So a break for the Rangers and other teams. The Reds keep thinking they're going to contend with all these young stars. If they can survive without Green and he's healthy when he comes back, he's a tremendous pitcher, could help him down the stretch, but not to start the season. But at least it's not his second UCL injury. He doesn't need Tommy John. Jesus Luzardo, who we mentioned earlier in the show, will probably face the Rangers in the season opening series. He signed an extension with the Phillies, 5 years, $135 million. That's $27 million per year. And the Phillies have really done a good job. Dave Dombrowski, nobody should be surprised about this, locking up their rotation. Luzardo under team control until 2032. Sanchez, team control until 2030. Zach Wheeler, who won't be ready for opening day, but should be not far behind, 2027. Aaron Nola, Team USA's favorite starting pitcher today, 2030. And then Andrew Painter, their young prospect who's been hurt, I think, Tommy John, not that long ago. He's under team control until 2030. So the Phillies are going to be around for a while in the NL East. You can throw those 5 guys out there, going to be pretty good. And my favorite Luzardo story, he pitched one day for the A's in spring training and against the Rangers, and he struck out 12 in 5 2/3 innings. And 11. And we're all like, this guy might be pretty good. He was just a prospect at the time. They had to trade him because they have to trade everybody who they think is going to be expensive at some point. So anyway, that's it for the batting cleanup. Somebody offered to buy me a beer in the chat. Shane Harris, let me buy you a beer in Philly before first pitch. I could probably do that. I think one beer won't hurt me, right? Nobody needs to know about it except you and me, Shane. So yeah, get in touch with me, please. I'll go down there and drink it. What's a good beer in Philly? Yingling. Yingling is my East Coast beer. So I'll drink a Yingling with you. Anyway, I'll do some research on that. Who else is going over today? Leon, you're not? Okay. Anyway, if you get tickets, got a time, flights are expensive. I'm having to stay until Saturday because the flights home Friday are so expensive. Anyway, that's it. Guys, another show. My vocal cords are done for the rest of the day. I need some water. We're going to be back Friday, 1 p.m., and then Monday from the studio, 1 p.m. The Wednesday show will be probably at 1 p.m., but I'll be in Arizona for that one as the Rangers finish up with 3 night games and a day game on getaway day. But hang out with me on Friday, please. I'll bring a cocktail. You bring a cocktail. We'll have a good time. Get our weekend started early. But until then, and thank you, T.O., we will see you Friday on the DLS Rangers podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.